Hi everyone, this is Alyssa Grasso and this is Awkward Author, which is a weekly vlog and podcast that I put out just talking about my life in writing and other publishing and bookish related stuff. And let you know my progress as far as what I'm working on, sales, things like that. And really, this week I do not have much to report in the way of progress. I'm pretty much between projects right now. I have my thriller, my psychological thriller, which I've kind of put off to the side for now. I do have to go back and do a lot of editing on it, but I want to just take a breather, a little break from it, and then look at it with some fresh eyes. And I think when I talked to you last week, I was trying to figure out what I was really working on next, and I think I have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to be doing. Right now, I'm just in the outlining stage of a couple of projects. As I said, I'm going to try to put out a shorter thriller, like a novella, which I have to write. And so I'm in the outlining stages of that. I've started writing it too, but very little progress has been made on that. And I've decided that I'm going to go back to something which I started and wasn't happy with, and that is a sequel to Unnamed Roads. So I'm working on outlining that, a new outline for that, because I wasn't happy with how the first attempt I made at it was going, which seems to be kind of par for the course for me. At least that's what happened with my thriller that I am waiting to go back and edit. The first time around, it was not what I wanted it to be. So it's just kind of how it goes. And sometimes I think a better outline can help you. Although I will say I did have both those books outlined, but maybe not outlined well enough, or I just wasn't happy with how they turned out. So I have a little bit written as far as the sequel goes, and some of it I will be able to save, but I am going to have to do a lot of new writing as well. So that's what I'm going to be working on next. Have not actually started working on it other than the outline, and really just have not made as much progress this week, I guess, as in previous weeks. Last week, the day that I would normally work on a lot of writing stuff, I ended up I had to do some spring cleaning here, so I was cleaning out my bedroom, and it had really gotten out of hand. So it was time to do it. But of course, time spent doing that is not time spent writing. So definitely less progress was made last week than generally I would make, which is fine. Like I said, I'm between projects, so it's okay to kind of maybe work on a few other things, clear the head out. And, thinking is part of writing too. So I definitely have been doing a lot of thinking about that sequel and how I want it to go, and some things that I need to figure out for that. So I have a pretty good idea of how things are going to go, and now just got to get it into like a formal outline, get that down on paper so that I can begin writing it. So if you follow publishing on social media or anywhere, then you probably know, like last Friday, I think it was, book Twitter basically exploded with some news coming out of the romance genre, and that is that a certain indie author, I won't name names, but easy enough to find out who this is. If you go do search on like Cockygate or Cocky Book Scandal or whatever, a lot of information out there on this. Anyway, this indie author who writes, romance novels that feature the word cocky in the title, which is a standard English word that's been around a long time, I will just point out, decided that she was going to did file a trademark for the word cocky in a book title. And, the trademark got approved, but I don't think there's any chance that this is going to stand. Because, first of all, it's an ordinary English word. She certainly didn't invent the word. She certainly isn't the first one to use it in a book title. And so, has very little chance of standing. Meanwhile, what she did, I guess this went out on Friday or late Thursday or whatever, she sent out takedown notices to any author that was using the word cocky in their book title, which there's plenty of authors doing that because it's a standard word, and in certain romance, books, fits well with the genre and, topic of the book. So, yeah, book Twitter authors were just, like, up in arms. I mean, like, imagine you have a book out there and you get notice that you have to change the title of it. I mean, it's a nightmare. You'd have to not just change the title in, all the places that you have it listed, your website, all that. You'd have to change the cover. It would become a huge ordeal. I mean, it's crazy. I had a book, when my first book came out, when Popular came out, that was not the original title of it. I submitted under the title Balderdash Semesters. The publisher decided to change the name to the Subrosa Semesters. I'd been going around talking about the book because it was coming out, and it was titled the Subrosa Semesters. If you like search that, there's an ISBN for the Subrosa Semesters, which is a book that never came out. Like, there used to be like a phantom listing on Goodreads. It might still even be there. There was all this stuff out there about this book, and then we decided that the title didn't work. Really, it was like the bookstores that decided the title didn't work, and so we changed it to Popular. But like, that was a huge ordeal. We had to change the whole cover. So much stuff had to get changed with that, and that was a book that wasn't even published yet. So I cannot imagine the nightmare that would be trying to deal with something that's already published, that's in print. And anyway, like, this notice that went out, it was, I guess, pretty threatening, legal action will be taken, all this stuff. So, right away, the RWA, the Romance Writers of America, basically set up, something for authors that have received notices. They're going to take legal action on it. Individual petitions have been filed to fight this trademark and all that. And so there's really very little chance of, of anything coming of this other than for the author who attempted this weird, questionable move. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, really, is like, don't do this. If you're an author, like, this is a textbook case in how not to behave. It's one thing if you're trademarking something that's unique to you. I mean, some examples that were given is like Harry Potter is trademarked, and okay, like, that's even though those aren't unique words, it's a character that's been created. It's very famous, and obviously J.K. Rowling is huge. She's a household name, and Harry Potter's a household name, and so that makes sense, right? And I think another example that was used was the Shades of Grey series. There's a copyright on that, but it's not a copyright on the word shades. Other books can come out that have the word shades in them, obviously. This is like a copyright on a word, on a very standard, ordinary, not that original word. So very weird thing there. By doing this, by creating this whole, scandal, by attacking other authors, this author has just bought herself like all kinds of bad publicity. I mean, this is going to cost her a lot of money, not just the legal fees, but, just in lost sales, because this is creating this like negative. I mean, she might have to she might have to use another pen name or something for other books, because it's going to hurt her sales dramatically. Because here's the thing with books, it's not like, fans of hers are not going to be fans of other authors. If someone likes a particular genre, they're going to like multiple authors in that genre. They're going to read a lot, especially, romance readers read a lot of books. And so, they're not going to limit themselves to one author, because it takes a long time to write a book. It doesn't take that long to read one. And so, if you like multiple authors and there's an author that's going around attacking other authors that you read, you're probably going to stop, reading the attacking author, because, that's just like, well, I'll give my money to some other author because she doesn't seem that deserving, kind of thing. It's a weird way of being. And, different businesses, I guess, are different ways, but the publishing world, whether it's traditionally published or indie authors, there's kind of the spirit that we're all friends. We're all in this together. We're not competitors. And that's not just like I'm not just saying that in a touchy-feely way. I mean, it's true because of, like I said, the way the world works. I mean, nobody reads just one author, or most people don't. They read, in certain genres, or they have a whole different, authors that they like, and nobody's going to be like, well, I only read, so-and-so. It's just not like that. So to kind of see yourself as being like in competition with these other authors is a weird way of thinking, because that's really not how it is. It's not like, oh, if somebody buys that book, they're not going to buy your book. I mean, sometimes that's the case, yes, but in general, people buy a lot of books that read, and so they're going to buy that book, and then maybe they'll read your book next. They'll buy your book. And so, like, that mindset that, like, it's like, I don't know. It's not like this is Coke or Pepsi. Like, someone that drinks Coke isn't going to drink Pepsi or whatever. It's not like that. I don't know, this idea that we're all in competition is a very weird way of viewing it. And there are some industries that work like that, Coke and Pepsi maybe. I know food companies are pretty crazy with their, competition and stuff like that, but publishing and author stuff just does not traditionally work that way, and for a reason, because it's just, that's not the kind of business this is. I remember, this was years ago, when I was, promoting one of my traditionally published books. I was part of a marketing group. We were the Kidlit Authors Club, still around, and it was local. It was like New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, something like that. And I don't know how many of us were in the group, but like we would get together, do group book signings, some different group events. This happened to be at a book festival, so there was all kinds of authors there, including several from our group. So we were all sitting together at this festival, and it's festival in New Jersey, book festival. And so another author came up to us. There's a certain type of author, and if you go to book signings, book festivals, you're bound to run into them. And this is the person that he goes around and like he's trying to promote his book, which is great, but he's trying to promote it to the other authors that are there, which don't do that. Don't be that person. Okay. Sometimes I've bought books from other authors at a festival because, I think the book sounds good, or I'm buying a book for a present or something like that. But not because that author is going around to the other authors there and pitching their book. And if you're doing that, it's just annoying. So don't do that. And it's the same type of thing. Like if you're in, I'm sure we've all, joined different like Facebook groups or forums or something like that, that have to do with like publishing and promoting our books, because we want to learn, tricks that work, news about new opportunities, things like that. Not because we want to have other authors promoting their books to us. And yet there's always that one author who does that, and don't be that person. Anyway, I got sidetracked there. The point I was making is, so this guy was going around and he was kind of promoting his book, which was annoying to begin with. And I don't know, 3 or 4 of us were sitting there, and I guess we started to explain like who we were, like, that we were part of this group, and that we're, picture book authors, middle grade authors, young adult authors, who do different, festivals and book signings and stuff like that, and market our books. And he was like, so you're joined together as a team or something like that? How does that work when you're in competition with each other? And like, he really was not like getting the concept of this like group marketing thing, and like just could not fathom that we would work together to try to promote our books. And it was just interesting, I think. I don't know. We were like, well, trying to explain to him that it's like, it's not like really that we're in competition. This isn't some cutthroat business where it's like one book sells so another book can't sell, and so-and-so has to be the top, and it's not like that. And we're like, it really makes sense to join forces, in this business. And like, he was just not getting that concept. And I suspect that this certain romance author who filed her, trademark for this common word is of that same mindset. And that's not going to help you in this business. So that is my tip for you. My advice for you is be nice. Don't be obnoxious. Don't try to trademark ordinary words and then, send these takedown notices to fellow authors, because that's just going to get you blacklisted in this business. And I don't know. It's very weird and adversarial and not at all the way you should be running your author business. And you have to really think about it as, it's not you against all the other authors out there. That's not at all the way it is. It should be you and the other authors, and you help each other out when you can. I mean, you don't have to be teammates with all the other authors out there, but certainly you want to have some friends in this business, because they'll have your back. If they're good people, they'll have your back. And that's the kind of mindset you need to have in this business, not like, oh, I'm going to beat so-and-so and I'm going to sell more books than her or whatever. I mean, that's just like weird way of looking at it. And you should be helping each other out, lifting each other up instead of like putting other people down. Don't be a bully, really. That's my advice to you. Authors tend to be really nice people. And most authors get the idea that, we're in this together, we're in this publishing game together. Let's help each other out, because it's a lonely business otherwise. So yeah, that's my, So that's my rant today. Just my thoughts on this whole, ridiculous scandal. And, oh dear. I'm recording this on my phone. I just got a text message. So, technology, it's awesome, but also distracting and crazy. And anyway, so that is what I have for you today. Hopefully I have more news about progress that I'm making on my books when I get back to you next week, because, I have not made much progress. Oh, one update this was something I mentioned last week. I said I was running or trying to run a YouTube ad with the book trailer that I made. I think the issue was actually with the reporting. Like, I contacted YouTube and they said it was running, and the views that it got, it had to have been running because my videos don't get that many views. But for some reason on the reporting, it was still showing like 0 views, 0 impressions, whatever. And so I thought it wasn't turned on. And I have not actually checked back into AdWords in the past day or so. So maybe now the AdWords dashboard has caught up with reality and it's actually showing the impressions. But so who knows? It was on. It just didn't look like it was on. Is it generating any sales? I really don't know. Because of the dashboard not being able to show me impressions, I'm not seeing if people have clicked on it either. So that's something I'd like to figure out. But so maybe next week when I catch up with you, I can give you some information about that. But otherwise, that's what's going on. Still figuring out this advertising thing. So I'll keep you posted on any new information I have on that front. But in the meantime, guys, I'm going to sign off there. I hope you are having a good week. Hope you are writing, reading, creating, whatever you do. And I will catch up with you again in another week. Be nice. Be nice to everyone. Be nice to your fellow authors. That is the advice I leave you with today. Again, my name is Alyssa Grasso. This is Awkward Author. You can check me out online at alyssagrasso.com, ALISSAGROSSO.com. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you all again. Talk to you all again soon.